All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to talk today about how to master your money in uncertain times. My name is James from nextlevel5.com. That's my website you can check out. I'm also on social media at nextlev5. So the topics we're going to talk about today: understanding wealth. Forget anything you've thought of. This is really what we're going to get into, is how to understand it, how it's actually made. We'll talk about investment, retirement, and other accounts, how you can save more and spend less, how to track your net worth and budgeting, and also additional resources that are available to you. So I want to welcome you all. Thank you for joining me today. Just a disclaimer, I'm not a professional advisor. I'm not going to try to sell you any particular funds. This is just something, this is actually being recorded during the times of COVID-19, the coronavirus. So a lot of people are hurting at this time. So we're thinking of ways that we can help out each other. Just to mention, as far as the types of people that are out there, as far as building wealth, usually you'll have about the three types, which is either you're someone that knows how to make that income, you're that hustler type. And that's probably where a lot of us, we picture that that's how we make money. We just got to go out there, make the income, sell things. But there's also other types that maybe we're not as aware of. Investor types, obviously people that they're watching the market all day long, looking for opportunities. Yes, there are some that can make it big there. There's also a lot of others that try and fail with that. So we'll get into that. And then finally, the other personality type for myself, I'm definitely an optimizer. So before, I thought of myself as I just don't like to spend money. I always look for ways to save, which if you do that successfully, you're able to save a big portion of that and actually invest it. That can be very helpful. All right. So as far as myself, I've always been a saver as a kid. My first video game system, I couldn't get the Nintendo. I went for the Atari. I would save quarters, pennies, dimes, whatever I could to get that video game system. 2008 happened. Before that, I had some debt, so I had to tackle that. Since then, I got into wellness, being physically active. Definitely just helped me kind of change my life around. And recently, actually, we had a house that we sold. We moved somewhere that was actually a better deal for us, so it made sense. And during that time, a friend showed me just ways he was saving all his money. He was building his wealth, and he was talking about what's known as the FIRE movement. And I'll talk about that. People that they save a huge portion, they let their money grow, and then at some point you can make work optional. So we'll get into that as well. So for me, I try to always stay healthy. So I also have some other websites you can check out as well. DestroyObstacles.com, obviously Wealthy, nextlevel5.com. Also Digital Beyond, into technology as well. So you can check out that website as well. So as far as wealth in America, since I am from North America, United States, one of the things you have to ask yourself is why, right? Why is something? So for us, we see America, United States, we're number one in so many things, right? So, but, let's say, for example, we have lots of wealth. So the millionaires, actually 10% are millionaires. So they have $1 million net worth or more. And then there's the 1%, so decamillionaires. So they have $10 million or more of net worth. But then you also have the other side. So we have a debt, and this continues to go up, obviously, especially in these times, is 22 trillion plus of debt, money that we owe. And actually 70% are broke. That means they have less than $1,000 saved. If they have any sort of issue, emergency comes up, they don't have that money to be able to take care of that. So why is that? Why are we so in debt? But then on the other side, you have those percentages that are so good at it, right? So there's a lot of information out there tell you one thing or the other. So that's what we want to try to dispel. So I really want to talk about how to understand just wealth in general. So there's many misconceptions, and most fake it. So it's really easy not to hide not having money. So you can always take out a loan. You can get that new car that you've always wanted. You can buy now, pay later. So, and it just makes it so easy to get that next bad deal when you're buying now, paying later. You get debt on your credit cards, that starts accumulating and that compounds, and we'll talk about the factor on that. There's money advisors out there that will basically steer you into something that will make them money, not for you. They don't have a fiduciary responsibility, so you have to watch out for that. So obviously, we don't really like to talk about money in general because of that, because we know that there's people out there that are just trying to take our money. Well, what's in it for them? So we need to remember that. Realtors selling us huge houses. So all your friends that are realtors, they're saying, well, look at this house. It's got so nice. It's got all these rooms. And a lot of times we don't spend all that time in that different areas. So we end up with a house that we can't barely afford, cars that, they're always selling us new cars. So that's another place where we get stuck. So now what's interesting is the average millionaire. So there's a book that talks about this, The Millionaire Next Door. Well, for houses, usually they're in an average neighborhood many years, so they know better than to move from place to place and then have to worry about realtors getting the commission. For their cars, they're going to drive a reliable used car most of the time. So it's really interesting once you get into that mindset of someone that starts with nothing, builds their way up to their wealth. All right. So one of the things they talk about in that book is, how to measure it. So it's measured by net worth. So you have a prestigious accumulator of wealth or an under accumulator of wealth. So depending on how much you're saving, how much you're building that. If you make a lot of money, you think, wow, I'm really good. I'm making all this money, but then you spend all the money. Well, that's not really going to help you out there. So that's something to